Yo, 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 this is Mr. O. What's up, Mr. O here, and today we're gonna learn how to solve equation, understanding its special cases, and solve if you're given a proportions, and solving for a formula, or we call it literal equations. Let's go ahead now. So again, this is kind of like one video in 4 parts. They're all Algebra 1 review. So this should be very easy for all of us. So solving equation, there are a few basic steps that you have to understand. Number one, if in the problem there is a parenthesis or bracket presented, if we can distribute the coefficient or the value outside the parenthesis, we will do that one. If we can simplify and combine the like terms, if there's any, we will do that. And we can move the variables to one side. I suggest to move it to the left, but it doesn't matter. You should still get the same answer as long as you follow the right rules and properties of algebra. And then from there, you solve it by getting the inverse, meaning to say, if the problem there's a addition being applied to a variable and a constant, for you to isolate it, you have to do the opposite of addition, which is subtracting. So you have to do the opposite or the inverse operation. So let's go ahead now. Let's do this first example. 6 to the quantity n plus 5 equals 2. Like in the basic steps here, there's a parenthesis involved, so we're going to distribute. I'm going to distribute the 6 and 6 there. When I say distribute, you're going to multiply. 6 times n is 6n. 6 times 5 will give you 30. Is equal to 2. There's no other like terms here except the 30 and the 2. So I have to move it. I have to do the inverse operation. I will subtract here by 30 and 30 on this side. Why am I subtracting 30? Because I can cancel this out, and I will leave the 6n by itself here on the left side of the equation. 2 minus 30 will give me negative 28. Divide them all by 6. 6. From here, you can have a decimal answer. We'll keep it fraction. They're both divisible by 2. This will be negative 28 divided by 2 is negative 14. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And that's the answer. Kaboom. Next, here I see a fraction and I see a parenthesis. So you can do this one in multiple ways. First, I'm going to distribute this one. That will give me 15 minus 9x over negative 4 is equal to negative 15. Every time you have a fraction, don't forget, just multiply them. Multiply it by the denominator, which is negative 4, negative 4. Why do I have to do that one? Because it's easy. I can just cancel this, and there you go. There's no more fraction involved. You don't have to multiply the 4 to the 15 because they already eliminated here. So I'm just going to drop it down, 15 minus 9x. And negative 15 times negative 4, they're both negative, so it will be positive. 15 times 4 is 60. Now I'm going to combine the like terms, which is 15 and 60 here. So I'm going to move the 50 to the other side by getting its inverse. Since there's a positive 15, I'm going to subtract it here by 15. Subtract here by 15. This cross out, drop the 9x. But don't forget, there's a negative here, so this will be negative 9x. Is equal to 10 minus 5 is 5. This will be 5 here, 45. Divide everything here by negative 9, negative 9. Cross it out. X equal to 45 divided by negative 9, it's negative 5. Easy. Next, number 3. I have a 2 outside, so I'm going to distribute this one. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14y. minus 5 is equal to 111. If you notice, I did not distribute the 5 to the quantity because 5 is not directly outside the quantity. Basically, this quantity is being subtracted by 5. So you're not multiplying it. Now, before we move terms to the opposite side of the equation, let's look at one side. Do you have any like terms on this side here? Yes, it's 4 and negative 5. 4 minus 5 will give you negative 1. Minus 14y is equal to 111. Do we have more like terms here? Yes. The negative 1 and 111, so I'm going to do the opposite operation, which is adding 1 here. That leaves me a 14y here with a negative because of that, minus, and this will be 112. I divide everything here by negative 14 and negative 14 because the operation between negative 14 and y is multiplication, so the opposite or the inverse is division. That's why we divide here by negative 14. Cross it out, cross it out. So therefore, 112 divided by negative 14 is negative 8. Kaboom. Now, fraction. Again, I told you a while ago that you can multiply a given equation or expression by the denominator to make it easy to get rid of the fraction. On this case, it's a little bit different. There are multiple ways of doing this one. You can simplify it. You can just distribute right away. Okay. Let's try just to distribute. This might be not the shortest way, but this might be a more logical way. Remember, when you multiply a fraction, let's say 2/3 times 9 over 8. When you multiply, there are multiple ways. You can just remember when you multiply two fraction, it goes straight across. 2 times 9, it's 18. 3 times 8 is 24. Or what you can do there is 2/3 times 9 over 8. You can cancel this out. This will become 1/4. You cancel this out here. This become 3 over 1. And the answer is 3/4. Why is it different here? Because you can still reduce it to the lowest term. These two here are both divisible by 6 and 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So that's why the answer is still 3/4. So you should still get the same answer no matter what, whichever is easier for you. So let's distribute this one here. When you multiply negative 15 and 4, I'll get a negative 60. And then 16 times 5 will give me 80. And there's a q there, so you just drop it down. Then multiply again the negative 15 over 16 on this side here. If you notice, it's kind of a big number, but we can work it out. 15 times 32 will give you 480, negative 480, because this is negative here. And then 16 times 3 will give you 48. And then that is equal to negative 16 on the left side. If we reduce our fraction to the lowest term, you can easily say that this one is 60, negative 60 over 80 have 0. So I can eliminate that. That will give me a negative 6 over 8. But negative 6 over 8 are both divisible by 2. I know that will be negative 3 over 4q. And this one here, 480 divided by 48, if you do that one, it's going to be negative 10. And this will be negative 16 here. Again, I still see a fraction. I don't want to see a fraction here. Everybody's different. And again, the best way to eliminate fraction if you're trying to avoid it might not be the shortest way, but this will be, the look will be a lot easier, is to multiply everything here by 4. 4. Where did you get the 4? Because the denominator of the fraction involved here is 4. That will cancel on later on. Let's prove it. 4 times negative 16 will give you negative 64. And 4 times that, this will cancel. The reason why it will cancel is because, imagine, excuse me, 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. So it is shortcut basically. This cancel out. And then the 4 will be distributed here, negative 40. Okay. Now we're going to combine the like terms here. The like terms here are this two. So I'm going to move this one to the other side by the inverse operation, plus 40 here, plus 40 here. Cross it out. This will give you negative 24 equals negative 3q. Divide everything here by negative 3, negative 3. Q here is equal to positive 8. Kaboom. Next, number 5, 10a minus 7 equals 21 minus 6a. Again, you're going to combine the like terms. Since there's nothing to distribute, I see that 10a and negative 6a are like terms. So I'm going to move this one of them to the other side. And I always prefer to keep the term with the variable on the left side. So I'm going to add 6a here because that's negative. So the opposite or the inverse operation is adding. This will cross out. 10a plus 6a is 16a minus 7 equals 21. Then I know these two here are like terms. I'm going to add 7, add 7. That gives me 16a is equal to 28. Divide them all by 16. Cancel a. All of them are divisible by 4 to reduce it, the lowest term. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So the answer is 7 over 4. Kaboom. Last one with fraction. One more way. Okay, so here you're going to distribute the 9/8 to the 4. Remember, 9 times 4 is 36. 8 will be multiplied to the number under the 4, which is 1 there, which will be just 8. Minus 9 times 1 is 9. 8 times 2, it's 16. A, because there's an A there. Is equal to, there's a 1 here. 3 times 1, it's 3. 1 times 4 is 4, but there's an A here, so copy the A. And then 3 times 5, it's going to be 15. 1 times 2 is going to be 2. Now, there's so many ways to do this one, but the best thing I can tell you is that here, the denominators are all different. I have an 8, 16, 4, 2. And the greatest common multiple of this number, the 2, 4, 16, 8, the greatest common multiple or the denominator here is 16. How do you know 16? Because 2 have multiples of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 4 has 4, 8, 12, 16. 16 is just 16, and 8, 8, 16, 24, which is 16 is the common to them. So I am going to multiply them all by 16, all of them by 16, 16, and 16. Now, here, there are multiple ways of doing this one, okay? Especially if you have a calculator, it may be easier. But for me, if you don't have a calculator, some kids might multiply 16 times 36. That's a humongous number. But can I just do the opposite? What do you mean by opposite? Before I multiply 16 and 36, can I divide it first? Yes, you may. 16 divided by 8 will give you a 2. Then now you multiply by 36, that will give you 72. If you don't believe me, you can multiply 16 by 36, which will be 576, and you divide it by 8, the answer is still 72. Minus, now I'm going to divide first. 16 divided by 16 is going to be 1, so it's cancelled out. What's left is just 1 times 9a is 9a. 16 divided by 4 is going to cancel, will be 4 here, right? And this will be 1, so you can just make it invisible. 4 times 3a will be 12a. And 15 halves times 16. 16 divided by 2, it's 8. 8 times, then you multiply 8 by 15. 8 times 15 will give you 120. Do we have any like terms? Yes. I'm going to add 9a here, add 9a here, cross it out. 72 is equal to 21a plus 120. Subtract 120 on both sides of the equation. And 120 minus 2 is going to be 48 negative is equal to 21a. Divide everything by 21, and we can have a decimal here. 2.2 something, or a is equal to negative 48 over 21. Is 21 here. They're all divisible by 3. This will be negative 16 over 7. That's how you solve linear equation, okay? Now, for special cases is that, remember, if it's a true statement, many solution. If it's a false statement, that means it's not true, it's no solution. How do you know if it's true or false? Okay, we will see it from here. Let's simplify 11. Distribute the 5. This will give me 1 plus 3c equals 5 minus 5c plus 8c. Before we move any term to the opposite side, to the like term, do we have any like terms for each side? 1 plus 3c cannot be combined. 5 and 5c cannot, but you can combine negative 5c and 8c. The answer to that one will give us 5 plus 3c. Now, combining the like terms, I will subtract 3c here, subtract 3c there, cross it out. 3c minus 3c will give me 0 also, so that will cross out. If you notice, there will be no more c or variable involved because they're all going to cross out. What's left there will be 1 is equal to 5. You should be alarmed if there's no more variable. It might be, most likely is going to be a special case. But I will always double check my work before I go there. Since I know that what we have been doing is correct, and what I have left is 1 equals 5, and is 1 equals 5? No, it's a false statement. They're not equal. So since they're not equal, and I cannot solve the equation anymore, so the answer here is no solution. Kaboom. Next, number 12. So 40 minus 8x, they are not like terms. But here I have negative 8, can be distributed there, negative 8x. And negative 8 times negative 5 is positive 40. I can combine the like terms here by adding 8x here and adding 8x there. Cross it out. Negative 8x plus 8x will be canceled because that will be 0 again. If they're going to be canceled, there's no more x. And you should be alarmed that this is a special case. What's left now is 40 is equal to 40. Is 40 equals 40? Is it a true or false? Yes, if you say it's true, that's true. So therefore, this is many solution, or some books, they use it, refer it to infinitely many solution, or all real numbers. So one of these three is a correct answer. All right, that's a special case for solving. Let's go with the proportion. Proportion is setting an equation of two ratios. So there are multiple ways of doing this one, but I suggest for you to cross multiply them. So I'm going to multiply 5 to the quantity x plus 4. There will be no parentheses there, but you just have to do it on your own. 5x plus 4 is equal to 3 times 2 will give you a 6. Then you will just solve it the way we have done it. Distribute the 5. 5x plus 20 is equal to 6. And then you're going to solve it minus 20 because 6 and 20 are like terms. Just cross out. 5x equal to negative 14. Divide everything by 5 there. So therefore, the answer is negative 14 over 5. One more time. Again, when you're doing proportion and applying the, I guess, cross product or cross multiplication here, remember that there's an equal sign between them. Okay, if there's a plus or minus there, or multiplication, or any other thing beside from equal sign, you cannot cross multiply that. Okay, remember that. So I will multiply the 10 down here. Remember, I'm going to put the parentheses on my own. 10, 2x minus 8. And then the 8 equal sign, 8 times 5x minus 9. You can cross multiply this, can distribute this one. That will give you 20x minus 80 is equal to 40x minus 72. Combine the like terms. I'm going to subtract 20x here, subtract 20x there. Cancel, cancel. This will give you negative 80 equals 20x minus 72. They are like terms. I'm going to move the 72 this time to the other side. Remember, the equal sign has to be between them. When I say them, it's the term with the variable and the constant in order to us to isolate that. So 20x here is equal to negative 80 plus 72 is negative 8 divided by 20. They're both divisible by 4. So negative 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 20 divided by 4 is 5. All right, solving literal equation. When I say literal equation, we're talking about your formulas. Okay, you had geometry last year, so I'm assuming that you guys are more familiar with the formulas. So remember, in the technique in solving literal equation, you always have to do the inverse operation. Like here, c equals 2 pi r. Let's first identify. We're solving for r here, for the pi. The pi is right here. What's the operation between 2 pi and an r and the r? They're being multiplied. So what's the inverse of being multiplied? You're going to divide. You divide by 2 pi and 2 pi. And if you divide by 2 pi, this cancel out. So what's left on this side of the equation is just r. And that's what you're trying. Nope, 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 nope. We're solving for pi, my bad. So we're solving for pi. The pi is right here. So I am going to divide by 2r. Divide by 2r. If I divide by 2r, this will cancel, that will cancel. What's left there in the middle is just a pi. So the answer is c over 2r. Next, 16. A is equal to half of AP. So we're solving for P here. The P is right here. I would like to get rid of the fraction first, the 1/2. So what do? I told you a while ago, multiply it by 2 here and by 2. So this will be 2a is equal to this cancel out. And I have 1AP. Remember, 1 is invisible, so I can just remove that one and leave it as AP. And we're solving for P, so what do I do here? Do I divide by P or A? We will divide here by A. A. Why A? Because you would like to cross it out. If you cross it out, what's left here? It's P, and that's what you're trying to solve. So the answer is 2a over a is equal to P. 17, we're solving for B here. But in order for me to solve that one, I need to get rid of the fraction first. So I'm going to multiply this by C and C here. This will cross out. That will give me A plus B is equal to 5C. And again, we're solving for B here. So I need to get rid of A. Is the A here positive or negative? It's positive. So I'm going to do the inverse by subtracting A. Subtract A. That gives me B is equal to 5C minus A. 18. 3x minus 3y equals 24. We're going to solve for the x. The x right here. I'm going to move this to the other side by adding it by 3y, 3y. 3x is equal to 24 plus 3y. For the sake of slope intercept form, I'm going to put the, it's okay. That should be all right. Not bad. I will solve for the x by dividing here by 3, by 3 here, by 3. This cross out. X, what's 24 divided by 3? It's going to be 8. 3 divided by 3 is canceled. It's going to be 1, so plus y. And that's the answer. Almost done. 19, I see a fraction again, and I'm solving for v. I'm going to multiply a 2 here and a 2 here. If I do that, this cross out. 2 times 7w is 14w. Is equal to w plus v. Because the 1 here can be invisible. You don't need it. Since we're solving for v, I have to get rid of the w by subtracting here by w. That leaves me 14w minus w equals v. But hold on, before we say that's the answer, because v is by itself, if there's a 1 here, which is imaginary, are there like terms? Yes. If you say yes, they are like terms. 14w minus 1w is 13w is equal to v. And that's the answer. And last one here, number 20, s equal to n minus 2 times 180. We're solving for n. You can distribute the 180, but I prefer not to because I need to isolate the n there. So I'm going to divide everything here by 180. Why am I dividing by 180? Can you see the tiny dot there? This one here? That means it's multiplication. If you're multiplying, what's the opposite of multiplying? You're going to divide. So I can cancel this out. That gives me s over 180 is equal to n minus 2. Now we're one step away to isolate the n. We can just get rid of the negative 2 by adding here by 2 and adding here by 2. So therefore, s over 180 plus 2 is equal to n. And that's the answer. Kaboom. Hope you learn how to solve equation, proportion, special case, and literal equation. Kaboom.